Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, we're back to working on the forward focus, doing the stereo system. We're gonna be wiring up the amplifier today. So we're gonna run the power wire, the ground wire, and get the RCA cables routed. And that way, when my head unit gets here, we can put that in, plug it in, the subs will be ready to go. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so that way you get notified whenever I do updates on my stereo system, my forward focus, or the Corvette over there. In the last video, we built and installed the subwoofer box. It's back there, it's in the back. So now we've got to get the power wire from the battery of the car through the firewall, under the carpet, to the back, on the passenger side where we're gonna be mounting the amplifier. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find an area on the firewall to either run the wire through an existing grommet or find somewhere where we're gonna have to drill a hole. Using an existing grommet is the easiest thing to do, so we're gonna try to go that route. We're gonna move some of these covers and stuff out of the way here. So that way there's some more room back there to dig around and try to find a grommet. So we grabbed the flashlight, we removed the covers off the battery, the cover off the engine to give us some more room, and we're gonna take a peek, see if we can find out where we want to put this. So right back there is actually a really big grommet with some wires and stuff coming through it, so we have that as an option. Otherwise, we can probably move some of that stuff out of the way, maybe see if there's something else there. There's not a lot of room to go digging around back here. There's a bunch of wires and things through there. There's the brake booster, and that's really about it without moving this battery box, which we might do, because there might be some room over there. Nah, probably not. Honestly, looks like the best bet's gonna take the power wire, route it across the engine bay, and go through right back there somewhere. Like the video and follow along as I do all this stuff to this focus. Get the stereo done, gonna be doing a head unit, gonna be doing sound deadening, gonna be doing speakers, all kinds of stuff. Long-term plans. Said right now, we're just on the second step, which is running the wiring for the amp. Something pretty exciting. This battery box already has kind of a notch right there, and then when you pull the cover off, the box itself is notched out here too, which is the perfect size for my 1/0 power cable, and we can actually put it on right here. It's got the bolt on top and everything that tightens us down, so we've got an easy place to come right off the battery. Now, like I said, it's just a matter of getting that wire from here to the other side and then to the back of the car and figuring out where we want to kind of mount the fuse block, which might go on the side of the battery box there, or maybe just back in the back right over there somewhere. We know we're going to run the power wire along the passenger side, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the trim here so we can peel back the carpet on the passenger side of the car. So we're going to do it on the front, the back, try all this trim so we can get under this carpet and run the wiring back into that hatch. So we're gonna grab my trim tools really quick. You know I love trim tools. And we're gonna pull all that trim out, peel it back, see what we've got going on there. Now, to get behind the glove box, because that's where the wire is gonna run through, we gotta pop the side cover off here. It's just this little trim piece here. It's got these clips on it. You just pry it off. You can remove this weather stripping out of the way because you do have to move it to get to this bottom panel. Again, just another panel that got some clips on there. It clips off. But now there's some Torx nuts that we got to get to. There's one right there, and then I don't know if you can see them, but up in there there's a couple we got to take out as well, and should be able to get this glove box out and then get to the grommet that's actually right back in there to run this power cable through to the engine bay. Under the dash there's going to be this panel right here. We got to pull this out, and it's got a clip here and a clip right there, and you just kind of squeeze the sides of this to release it, and it pulls those off, and then this panel will come out. And then now up under here there's two more screws that we got to get out that are those T20s, just like the side and inside the door. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see where those are. There's one like right up there, and there's one back over up this way. We're gonna get those out really quick here. I went and I went and grabbed my son because there's no room in this car. So I grabbed my son, and now he's all curled up in here trying to get those 2 stupid screws out for me. So then once you get those 5 screws out, the glove box does come out. There's this little plug here. It's kind of a pain in the butt. There's this little tab right here on the side. You've got to push in and it pulls out of the plug right there on the glove box. So now we can see that excitement behind the glove box, and we are trying to get right back there is where I believe that rubber grommet is. So I'm just going to move that insulation stuff out of the way, see if that grommet's right there, which I believe it's right where those wires are coming through. We'll run another hole through that grommet, and that's where our power wire will come through for our amplifier, run down under the carpet all the way to the back. We'll reassemble all this because we'll be done with this side. Well, not true. I'm going to run a remote wire up this way as well with the power wire. That'll go to the back of the stereo to power on the amp when the vehicle turns on and the stereo turns on. So we'll run that while we're in here too, then we'll reassemble everything. And that grommet's right here. I can't get the light in there. There you go. Right here is where the grommet is. So we're going to take just a pick and we're going to poke through on this side going out into the engine bay, because the harness that comes out on the other side is all wrapped together. There's not a bunch of wires like this on the other side. The chances of poking through a wire are not as great coming through this side. This is where you could grab someone to help you, like I'll grab my son CJ again. I'll poke through here. I'll have him watch the other side with a flashlight just to make sure he sees it come through, and that's where we know the power wire again will go through the firewall, and then we'll get ready to just toss all this back together. I've got my hole right there, but my hole isn't quite as big as this wire I'm gonna run, so I'm gonna use a, I don't know, a little cheat. I've got a cable that's got the eyelet on it, which will fit through there. So I'm going to go ahead and push this side through that grommet, and then before I pull it all the way through, I am going to tape the wire I'm pulling through, the aught gauge wire, to this really good, so when I pull it through there, it'll pull that fat wire through there for me, because it is ripped open enough that wire will just fit through there, but it's kind of hard just to make it go through there on its own. So this is a way to get it to work for you. So I've got something that'll go through there without a problem. It's not soft. This is a hard piece versus this trying to flop around and not go into the hole right and all that good stuff. I'll shove this through, attach this to it, and just pull it through. Good boy. Good boy, kid. Good boy, get here. Hey. All right, so now we've got the power cable up through the grommet there. See, coming out into the engine bay now, right back there. So what I'm gonna do is I've got some little holes along this little plate here. I'm gonna run that wire along there. We'll zip tie it into place, and then we're gonna mount that fuse right onto the side of this battery box right here. So this fuse block right here will go onto that battery box, right back in there for easy access to the fuse, and then we'll run that power wire along the back, and that's where it'll connect right there. And then now we're gonna go inside the car. I'm just gonna run the wire under the carpet. I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna pull up the carpet, run it under there, and put all the trim back together. So when I jump back on here, that'll all be reassembled. Run over to this side here, just gotta connect the terminal to the battery, mount the fuse block up on there. Everything else is assembled. We've put together the interior of the car again, wires all tucked away. Can't even tell there's a stereo wire run through here. And then back here in the hatch, there's my power wire. I've just got to run the ground wire, and then we will be running the RCA cables down the driver's side when I get my head unit in and replace that. So we'll be doing something similar, and I will be actually running the remote wire at that time as well. I was going to run it here, but I don't have the stereo pulled out anyway, so I'm going to run remote wire and RCA cables down driver's side when I do that. So now power wire's run. I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put that ground cable on the back here, decide if I'm going to build an amp rack to hold the amp kind of on the side here, or what I'm going to do there. And something that worked out pretty good for me is I had done a sound symposer delete, so there's actually a mounting bracket here on the side that I'm using to mount that fuse block for the amplifier, so that way I don't have to use zip ties and stuff like that. So now you can see the power wire will be coming out of the back side that goes back to the amplifier, and then I'll connect the feed wire from the battery to the front side right there, and it should look pretty dang good right there. There is the engine compartment, fuse block there. I don't have the fuse in there right now. I have the battery that comes up in, or the battery cable that comes up in through that little opening right there that was already there, and the cable runs back along the back in through the grommet. So the front's done. I've just got to finish doing everything else, including grounding the amp, mounting the amp, installing a head unit, running the RCA cables, the remote wire, the bass knob wire, and we're about done. And that's going to kind of wrap up what we're doing right now. So be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't. Be sure to follow along as I continue to do this amazing stereo build. We still have to install the amplifier, do a head unit. I'm going to do sound deadening. I'm going to do door speakers, all kinds of stuff on this car. So be sure to like the video. Let me know what you thought. And then until next time.